there are 4 strategies that you need to know if you want to get a high SAT score. And in this video, I'll show you each of those strategies and I'll explain exactly how you can use them on SAT questions. So, by the way, my name's Azamat and I got 780 on the SAT math section. So, let's get into it. So, the first strategy is uh, eliminating fractions early on in these types of questions. And to show you how to use this strategy, let's solve this exact question. So the first thing that you want to do is that you want to eliminate fractions early on, as I said before. So to do that, we should find the least common denominator. In this case, the least common denominator is 6xyz. And what we can do is we can multiply the entire equation by this equation. So we can multiply the entire equation by this. So let's do that step by step. 6xyz multiplied by 1 over 3xy plus 6xyz multiplied by xyz, and that is going to equal to 6xyz multiplied by 1 over 2yz, 1 over 2yz. So now we can simplify each term here. X and y are removed here. And 6 over 3, that's going to equal to 2. So we got 2z plus 6xyz squared. And that's going to equal to, we can remove y and z here. And 6 over 2 equals 3. So it's 3x. So now we can solve for y. And before solving for y, let's subtract 2z from both sides. Giving z is equal to z. So that would be 6 multiplied by x, y, z squared. And that's going to equal to 3x minus 2z. And now we can divide both sides by 6. So we get x, y, z squared equals 3x minus 2z divided by 6. And now we can take the square root of both sides. So that would be x, y, z equals 3x minus 2z divided by 6x. And now what we can do is we can divide both sides by z by zx so that we can isolate y. So that would be this multiplied by 1 over xy. Here's multiplied by 1 over xz. So we can eliminate x and z here, so that the y equals. And what we can do in this case is 1 over 6z is the same as 1 over x squared z squared. So we can rewrite it this way, and then we multiply these two things. We can rewrite it as y equals square root of 3x minus 2z divided by 6x 30 that squared. So y is going to equal to this. By the way, 99% of students are grinding for months, and most of them still are scoring so low. And you might be wondering why. And the reason is they're focused on the wrong things. And on May 24th, I'm hosting a free live SAT challenge where I will show you the one strategy that top scorers use and how to master it, even if you've never taken a test before. Seats are very limited, so hit the link in the description to register. Strategy number two that you need to know is looking for transitions. Well, not just in transition questions, but also in SAT reading questions as well. Transition words like however, moreover, or in contrast, they usually indicate shifts in the direction of the argument. So, in order to illustrate the strategy, let me show you how to use that exact same strategy in this SAT reading questions. So, to solve this question, you first need to analyze the overall structure of the text. So it asks for that. So the passage starts off by stating a very general claim, saying movies from independent studios are often praised for being innovative. And so then it is giving a specific example. Take, for instance, Moonlight 2016, which is made by A24 production company. And it's giving a specific example of Moonlight, and uh, yeah, it's true that this movie shares themes with other coming of age films. But just because a movie explores familiar territory doesn't mean it can also be groundbreaking. So it's introducing a contrast with the transition word of but. And it is saying that it's giving a counterpoint despite movies might have familiar themes, it cannot still be groundbreaking. So, yeah, critics generally agree that Moonlight isn't the most conventional independent film, but independent films are rarely as formulaic as some people suggest. Then it's presenting the main argument. And the main argument here is independent films are not as formulaic as some people claim. And some independent productions, like the Florida Project, are remarkably distinctive. And finally, it's giving us another example of the Florida projects so that they can to support this argument. Now let's look at the answer choices. Choice A, the text summarizes the plot of an independent film, then explains how the themes are developed in a later film by the same director. Well, A is wrong because the text doesn't even summarize any plot or discuss later film films by the same director, so that's why A is wrong. Choice B, the text explains why some viewers appreciated a particular independent film, then considers why other viewers criticized it. Well, choice B is wrong because the text doesn't focus on explaining different viewers' perspectives, whether uh, one sort of a viewer enjoyed it or the other type of a viewer didn't enjoy it. So it doesn't focus on explaining perspectives of different viewers. So that's why B is wrong. Choice C. The text describes audience's reaction to a movie from an independent studio, then presents some critics' reactions to that movie. Well, choice C is wrong because the text doesn't even describe audience reactions specifically. There's nothing about the reaction, so that's why C is wrong. Choice D, the text discusses a common praise of independent films, then argues that the praise is mostly warranted. Well, choice D is the correct answer because the reading passage discusses a very common uh, phrase of independent films being innovative, and then it talks about these phrases. generally deserved. Although some films might share familiar elements, so that's why D is right. So now let's move on to the next city question. So here we've got the equations and you need to find the value of A minus B. So let's solve it. So the first thing is we need to find the common denominator. So common denominator here is 4. So what we can do is we can multiply this one by 2. So let's solve that. A minus 12 over 4 plus 2B plus 30 divided by 4 is going to equal to minus 3. So we can add these things together. So that would be A plus 2B plus 18 divided by 4. And that's going to equal to negative 3. And we can multiply both sides by 4. And we get A plus 2B plus 18 equals negative 12. And from here, we got A plus 2B equals negative 30. So here we've got this simplified version of the first equation 1. And now let's simplify the second equation. So if you've got the second equation, and we can multiply this part by 2. So that would be 2A minus 24 divided by 4 minus B plus 15 divided by 4 equals 4. So from here, you can get 2A minus B minus 39 divided by 4, and that's going to equal to 4. And now we can multiply both sides by 4. So we get, so let me erase this, and we get 16. So yeah, so that's going to equal to 16. And you can add 39 to both sides. So after that, we got 2A minus B equals 55. And now we have the second equation as well, the simplified version of it, equation number 2. And we also have the simplified version of equation 1 as well. Now we can use elimination by adding both of these equations. And yeah, that's in realized. So plus, let me get it from here. Yep, here discounted. So, yep, we can add both of these here. I guess, yeah, I guess the best thing that we can do is that we can divide this part by 2. So that's going to be a lot easier here. So if you multiply it by 2, we will have 4 here. And here we will have negative 60. And it's better to subtract it. So let's do that. So that if 5B equals negative 105, so B equals, so that would be 21, negative 21. And we found B, now we should find A. Let's put it in this equation. So that would be 2A plus 40 plus 21 equals 55. So we can subtract 21 from both sides. So we get 2A equals 34 and A equals 17. So the question ask it for the value of a minus b. So that would be like this. So 17 minus 21. Double negatives equal to positive. So we have it's 38, and our answer is 38. And that's a free response question. So you can write 38 here. If you want to get a high SAT score, then check out this playlist right here where I will show you exact strategies that you need to know if you want to get a high SAT score.